Are good? It's good, all right. Okay, I'll go ahead and call to order the regular meeting for September 9th, 2025. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. To the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our mission statement is Learning for Life. Vision statement is Southgate Community Schools, the best choice for students and parents. With that, I will entertain a motion on the agenda.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
A motion by Dr. Pomponio. Is there support? Support. Support by Mr. Green. Any discussion on the agenda? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we have an agenda. No presentations tonight. We'll open up public comment. Any member of the public who would like to speak tonight for up to 3 minutes can fill out a form, or you can just raise your hand and be acknowledged by me. Is there anybody who'd like to speak tonight? No? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and we'll close the public comment. Brings us to the consent agenda. That consists of the August 26th, 2025 regular board meeting minutes, the HR update, and the August 2025 disbursement. Entertain a motion. Consent agenda.
I'd like to make a
Pomponio. Supported by Ms. Angel. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent is approved. Quickly on to the action items. Action item number 1, garish walkway replacement.
Good evening. Per the consensus of the board on August 12th, the Garish Community Walkway has been returned to the board. In the event that the board chooses to replace the walkway, we collected quotes for asphalt and concrete. For concrete, we have an estimate from Royal Cement, with whom we hold a 5-year contract for all concrete work. Royal's pricing on these quotes have been verified. We have also received an estimate for asphalt from ASI Specialists, the company who was on site doing the work for the district. Their quote sets a price that assumes that all equipment is already on site. I've attached the estimates for Royal Cement and ASI Asphalt Specialists. If the board chooses to replace the walkway, we'd recommend replacing the path with concrete rather than asphalt. Long-term maintenance of asphalt will require crack filling and sealing every 3 years, which would cost $1,400 per application for the long-term and the life of the asphalt. So an ongoing cost every 3 years, around $1,400 in today's dollar value. To process a concrete replacement, we recommend the Board of Education approve Royal Cement estimate and contingency for the total not to exceed $32,762. Questions?
question. So for the concrete, is the 4-inch and 6-inch deep? And what's the difference? I mean, there's a big jump in price from $8,000 to $20,000.
It's so the $28,762 is the 4-inch and 6-inch. 6-inch,
Right.
We're putting the thicker concrete out into the field where the mower is going to be going back and forth across it more often. So we wanted to thicken up the concrete so that when the mower comes across, because it'll divide the field in half for mowing purposes, or not quite half, but the heavy equipment, we want a thicker concrete there for the mower because it's got to travel from one spot of grass to the other spot of grass and go over this concrete. So we put the 6-inch where we know the mower is going to travel more likely, so that the life of the concrete stays longer. So with the heavy equipment on.
Okay, so this is the total bid with 4-inch in some places and 6-inch in the other.
Right, the 4-inch would run along, let's say the neighborhood there, before it made the straight back to Garish, because the 4-inch, the mower shouldn't be on that concrete traveling back and forth for mowing purposes. So we thickened it up on purpose to save the cracking.
Okay, and then for the concrete, is that going to need repair like the asphalt as much?
No, a long-term life of concrete, it will not need every 3 years of crack filling and the sealing. Asphalt dries out because of the sun, so to keep that, moisture in the concrete, or in the asphalt, sorry. And when there's cracks, you want to fill it so the ice and water don't get down below it and make it worse. And so asphalt in, our recommendation, there's a long-term, uh, maintenance cost to it to keep it nice for the life of the asphalt.
So do you have a recommendation of asphalt or concrete?
For concrete, we're recommending the concrete because of the
Okay.
long-term, maintenance recommendation, every 3 years, or $1,400 in today's, dollars to keep that crack filled and sealed, and I'm sure that'll go up, over time because of the cost of materials and labor.
That's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions for staff? Okay.
Regards, with the concrete, do we know how long the concrete lasted last time? When it was initially installed and how long it lasted?
It's concrete, it's asphalt.
It was asphalt before, yes, it was, and,
That was there since inception?
yeah, yeah, I mean, whenever the path was put in, it was there, that was the only surface we had, there, that I know of. There wasn't anything beforehand.
I don't think we know when that asphalt was laid. I can say that the whole thing came up because of the disrepair of the path itself.
Yeah,
So it, I think had been probably decades, since it either had been maintained or replaced.
and then, on both, the path is 5 foot wide so that people can pass, so it's, wide enough, for ADA and for, people walking and bikes to pass. They don't have to share one smaller walkway.
Any other questions for staff? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring the discussion back to the table, entertain a motion on action item number 1.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the concrete walkway with Royal Cement not to exceed $32,762.
Motion by Dr. Pomponio, was there support? Support. Support by Mr. Sage. Any discussion? Screen.
I'm going to try to choose my words carefully, and I'm sure what I say is not going to make everybody happy. On the pure essence of, is this educational for students? To me, the answer is no. Is it a collaboration with the city? Is that what we're looking for? Good faith? The mayor came and elaborated about some history I didn't know about 10, 11 years ago about the, working with the school district to benefit both, which made sense to me to some degree. Where I'm just going to have to say it. I know there's separate issues, but to me, the overall issue is not separate. I've done a lot of thinking on this over the months and seeing the things that have been going on, knowing some things I didn't know until the very end of the meeting last time. And, collaboration's a two-way street. And whereas there's a situation at hand that we need some help on for educational purposes, for our students, that we've been thwarted on, and I know it doesn't come to the city council per se. I'm well aware of how that works. I do know that people can be talked to explain to them why the situation, and I'm not going to get into all of it, the people know what I'm talking about, is important for the educational process of our students. And on our end, from what we have looked at with our council and this and that, it absolutely can be done. It was just told no. So I'll vote for this. I'm all good with working together, but I'm gonna go on record and I'll be honest with everybody in here. And I know who's in here. And I'm looking right at them. I won't look away from them. I'm not gonna hide from anybody. That's not how I am. And I just feel if the collaboration isn't both ways, then I'm going to be a very upset person in this community. That's all I'm going to say.
Dr. Pomponio.
So I just want to say that I'm so glad that I went and did some research after the fact when it was brought to me that it wasn't used because my kids are grown, my grandkids are coming up, and I totally forgot that, they did their practices back there with the Vikings, and it has been used a lot because I've been in the community at different events, and many, many people came up to me through conversation and said that from the new subdivision back there, that was being used. So going back there, just myself, just seeing what was back there and what was being used, the Vikings are practicing back there. They have family events back there, and they had food trucks back there, and the cheerleaders practice back there. And this isn't the first year, so it's been happening over and over, and the community does use it. So with verification with community members, and like I said, with the new subdivisions and the old subdivisions, it has been used. And I'm glad that that was brought to my attention and seeing it firsthand, because we have a brand new baseball diamond that's built there. I'm sure not to be just sitting there not being used. So I'm glad to see the people using it. Like I said, from my experience, and it is being used, I'm watching the people use it and do their events back there. And like I said, with the practices, cheer and football and the family events that I've seen. And it reminded me back when my daughter was in school that these things were happening, still happening. So it actually actively is being used. So I'm glad to see all that and that this is being approved. Thank you.
Say,
So my concern was the liability that we had discussed, and it sounds like there wasn't any issues over the years, correct?
Not that we're aware of.
Not that there were, because I don't think this topic would even be discussed had it not already been there, right? It was something that was there that got taken away, and some of the community may feel it was taken away from them, right? If it wasn't there, this would be a different topic. But that's kind of where I'm at. If we were in a system, the last thing we want to do is have access to our kids that we're protecting and doing everything. This is something that has been there historically, and that's kind of where my mind is that if it wasn't there in the beginning, it was there for a reason, right? If it wasn't there, then this wouldn't even be a topic right now. But it was, people are using it. I'd like to collaborate with the city, I do understand, and agree with Mr. Green as far as moving forward with the educational side of things. But if it wasn't there, it wouldn't be a topic, and that's what I feel strongly about.
Sandy.
In my observation, I've lived in that neighborhood for 20 years. And when the kids were using it, it made sense for that path to be there for the kids to be able to get to the school from the neighborhood. In my observation over the years, it's not as used as often as it used to be. Will it be used more with the new fields back there? Maybe. Right now, the path goes in the opposite direction of, where, the fields and the playing is going on. So it's not kind of leading you toward that anyway. It's really just a path to a parking lot. There's no destination. There's no real reason to, have to leave that neighborhood and go walk to a parking lot. So that said, I don't have strong feelings about putting it back in or not putting it back in. I do have strong feelings about wanting to work collaboratively with the city. And in that spirit, I'm with Mr. Green on that I do want to have a good neighbor relationship between the school board and the city. So for that reason, if others are in favor of going forward with it, I'm not going to oppose it. But, we have there, as far as walkability goes, there's walkability all over the city, including the field adjacent to the neighborhood over at Shelters. There's a beautiful path that the community members use all the time. There's always community members out there. So is it needed? Is it necessary for walkability? I don't really think so. Will it get more use with the fields and things back there now? Maybe. So, I'm not going to oppose it, but I do hope that it will lead to further good relations with the city.
And just to repeat, because of the concern, I actively went out there and I was watching the different uses and the things that were out there. So you said that you didn't think that there was, but I did go out there and I was witnessing because I wanted to see for myself. So there is activity out there. And with the practices for the Vikings and for the cheerleaders and for other events and the family events, it spanned all the way across the field. So they were all over. varsity, freshmen, and JV, all throughout that big field.
In the grass?
Sure, in the grass,
In the grass.
right? The path goes the opposite way.
But they can't go across because it was blocked off. And that's what they were saying. They use that, through the neighborhood. So I'm just saying, the communications that I got. So you're
Sure.
saying that you didn't see it. And I'm just trying to tell you that when I went out there just to do some research,
Yeah.
that's what was happening.
Yeah, I've lived there 20
Just
years, so
trying to-
I know too. And it's been, done
Yeah, I've
for
been
the
there
past few weeks.
for a long time too.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
Let's go one at a time. Hang on. We're gonna go
But
one
no,
at a
just
time.
conversation. Mhm.
so, yeah, I don't have strong feelings about it. If it leads to great relations with the city, I'm supportive, so.
Otherwise I wouldn't have known any activity at all.
Great.
As Mr. Green pointed out, it's not a super easy decision. Thought about it, and I was elected on the school board to look for the students. And I think that this $32,000 could be spent on Chromebooks. We've had a lot of people say that Chromebooks are getting old. That would go for at least 50 new Chromebooks, or we could put it to the DC trip. There's a lot of things in the school I think we can use this money towards. And I'm here for the students, so I wanted to go towards them. So I'm a no for this one.
I'm gonna go ahead and give you my thoughts on it. It was put in a place, I'll address something said earlier, when it was an active school for kids walking to that school. It's not right now. Now, maybe in the future will be, but right now it's not. I don't see how this fits an educational purpose. I don't see how this fits within our charge of being good stewards of the district's money. So I can't support this, but. So with that, anything further? No? All right, we have a motion by Dr. Pomponio that was supported by Mr. Sage to approve it. I'll go ahead and call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No.
Opposed? No.
So that's 2 noes and 4 yeses. That motion is approved. Okay, action item number 2, Stormwater Board Resolution and August 2025 permit application. Mr. Hardy.
You get. So up until February 24, 2025, Southgate Community School was combined or nested with the city of Southgate for stormwater management permit. Now with the Eagle or Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy, MS4 regulations, Southgate Community Schools has to have their own MS4 permit to reduce the pollutants and stormwater discharges across the district. Arch Environmental has worked with the city of Southgate and engineers to determine which of our buildings are a combined sewer system versus a separate sewer system. The following facilities were determined to be on separate storm sewer systems and therefore required to be permitted for our district. Anderson High School and Allen Elementary, it's one complex or one campus, so they're required to be permitted. Garish Middle School is required to be permitted, and North Point Elementary is required to be permitted. All the rest do not fall underneath the permit. The application is required for the Michigan Department of Environmental, Great Lakes and Energy, or Eagle, to gain authorization to discharge the water through the district's municipal separate storm sewer system, which is the MS4, to waters of the state. So we have already submitted a new application by the August 29, 2025 deadline per Eagle. Included is the board resolution in support of stormwater management plan. To meet the permit application requirement, Arch has developed this board resolution to be reviewed and signed by the Board of Education, thus approving the district stormwater management program. A copy of it is included, and a copy of the Southgate Community School Stormwater Management illicit discharge regulatory policy was submitted to Eagle as well. And the next step is for the board to review and sign the board resolution here tonight. So moving forward, stormwater management, what does that mean? We have to inspect the drains. We got to make sure the structures are not failing. There's a whole list of requirements that we follow. Now, for this permit, we did not, there's a minimal list of actions that we have to do, and then you can go even further, but we chose to stick with the minimal, requirements, for the district, because this will be a reoccurring cost when we have to fix manholes and, inspect the discharge, and so that means we gotta suck out some of the storms if their sediment gets in. So this is not construction related, this is day-to-day related, MS4 application and permit. Construction related has their own set of guidelines that we have to follow during the construction process to cover the drains and that, so none of the soil gets into the storm. I know there's probably some questions.
So you said day-to-day related. Is there anything that we have to do every day to like follow up on
We
this?
don't need to do it every day. With the application, we're gonna have a trained, certified person, on our team, that's gonna be able to inspect these manholes. And also Arch is the third party, to take those inspections and submit them to the state to make sure that the, state knows we're following all the guidelines. So if they come out and inspect themselves, we don't get hit with, fees or fines.
Thank you.
You know where I'm going with this, because this is my usual question and things like this. In the past, dealing with this person, that person, this person. One, do we have identified who's going to be in charge and how many are going to be in charge with this? And two, who do we go to if it goes haywire? Is it them, you, her, him? I know it's not him, but I just thought I'd put it out.
Right. So, one person from my team will be, trained to inspect. Arch will be the third party. For who does the work, that depends on what's going on. If a structure needs to be rebuilt, the structures are concrete, we'd reach out to Royal Cement, who we hold the, concrete award for. They're able to rebuild some of the collars and the structures themselves. So, who's going to be doing the work, it depends on the work that's needed. We might just have to back out a storm, so we'd have to call Power Vac as one of our people to back it out and clear it, the sediment in these structures. So, but it will be run through maintenance. It'll be overseen by, my department. So if there's any issues, you can call me.
Thank you.
It's not as if we have a choice, correct?
We do not have a
The
choice.
state has now came down and said this is what has to be done.
Correct.
Whether you're a state certified daycare center, you gotta follow their guidelines. This is a new guideline that we now have to follow. It's out of our hands.
Correct. And, I am, aware of the stormwater management in other districts I've held. We had our separate stormwater. We've been, again, nested or combined, but we no longer can be combined with the city, and we have to have our own permit moving forward. So it's not something we sought out or,
Right. We can't opt out of it. We have
right.
to do it.
We have to follow at least the minimum regulations, and that's what we're gonna do.
How long is this permit good for? Is it renewed annually, or is it a 3-year renewal, or? do you
I have to follow back up with, I don't know what the regulations is on the, if it's an annual renewal, if it's every 2, 3, 5-year renewal.
So there's a separate storm system from the sanitary system at these locations? Is that what they're telling us?
Yes. So the rest of our building combined,
Where does the stormwater go?
what's that?
Where does the stormwater go to, do you know?
In these locations, yes.
Because I've seen this where you got separate storm here, separate sanitary here. 20 feet down the line, they connect and combine, because, I mean, in a previous life, I worked on what was called the Downriver Regional Storage and Transportation. So it's a 10-foot diameter tunnel that runs under Allen Road all the way from I-94 down to Pennsylvania, makes a left-hand turn and goes all the way to Wyandotte. It's a 10-foot diameter tunnel that you can drive a truck through. And it's combined storm and sanitary. I didn't know that there was a separate treatment system. As far as I know, everything goes to Wyandotte. Somewhere it combines.
Arch has worked with the city engineers to determine the facilities and which ones would, we need a permit for, so it's not our best guess. So they reached out to the city, and these are the ones that don't have the combined sewer and storm and then are separate, which is, 3 of them, Anderson and Allen, we always think is separate schools, but that's one complex.
Okay. Guess if you need it, you need it. All right, any other questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll bring the discussion back to the table, entertain a motion on action item number 2.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the Stormwater Board resolution in August 2025 permit application as presented.
Motion by Dr. Pomponio, is there support? Support. Support by Mr. Green, any discussion on the item? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's approved. Last item on the agenda,
Mr. President,
Mr. Green.
make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Green to adjourn the meeting. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Dr.
Support by
Pomponio.
everybody.
Any discussion on the adjournment? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.